Hey, Chris here, Estimating Expert YouTube channel. Today we're applying an electrical estimate to bid a commercial tenant improvement project at an existing Eye Mart Express in Reno, Nevada. It's not a big job. The area of work is about 1,400 square feet. There's some demo, there's some new light fixtures, there's some new wiring devices going in, and some new data boxes and conduit stubs for me. I don't know anything about the two general contractors that are soliciting invitations for this job, so what I want to do first is get a little more intimate with the project, learn a little bit more about it, and then make some phone calls to see what else I can find out about the project. Let me get this job set up stuff out of the way and we'll start getting into it. So the first thing that I always do is go and create a new estimating folder. This is my estimating folder, and this is where I keep all the documents upon downloading them. This job right here in particular, I'm already creating estimated folder. I've got some information on this job. So we go to the invitation, we go to view this RFP, and we can look at the project. This project due December 18th. Today is the 12th. I'm just going to go ahead and download these files. Download selected. Wait for these files to download. Looks like they only have one deal to download. So let's open up the bid set of drawings. Download them into our drawings folder. Open up the drawings and find electrical scope. First thing I do when I look at a job is where it's at and what is happening. This one, it looks like they're doing just a little interior remodel. I mentioned before, it's about a 1,400 square foot area where the work is being done. And what I do is just quickly scan the drawings for demo for electrical. So looks like my takeoff drawings are between 12, starts at 12. I'm gonna write that down. 12 to electrical, so 12 to 16. Looks like I'm going to need to relabel these two. So normal deal, let's relabel. I don't think anybody's going to want to see this. If you want to see how to relabel drawings, you can check the YouTube channel for those how-to videos. So I'm just going to label these drawings and then save, and then I'm going to extract my drawings into my takeoff folder. So now that's done and I have my takeoff drawings. The next thing I'm going to do is start AccuBid, create a new job. We're going to add drawings. So I'm going to just grab these 5 drawings here and drop them in. We'll let that load. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to get rid of this blank drawing that I don't need. I always populate that with. First drawing looks like a demo plan. So this drawing is 3/16 as an inch. So before you can do anything in AccuBid, you need to set the scale. So I'm just going to go through here and go to each drawing and set the scale. 3/16 is an inch on that one. Power floor plan, 3/16 is an inch. Low voltage plan, same, 3/16. Panel schedules are not to scale. So demo plan. Okay, so now that all of our takeoff drawings are uploaded and the scale is set on them, I'm going to set the status on each one of these so that I know that there's takeoff that needs to be done. And that's the last thing that we need to do. So I'm just going to do a quick review of the project. Now we've got 5 electrical drawings. We know there's some demo. We know there's some light fixtures going in. It looks like there's some 2x4 fixtures, some track lighting, a couple emergency fixtures, exit combos. Looks like there's some lighting controls that are interesting. I'll look these cut sheets up later, but looks like some kind of integrated lighting control panel. They're showing it to be installed maybe above the ceiling, which is a little strange. But they've got lighting control devices that have special cable coming over here. It's the 3 number 18s, looks like, for the occupancy sensors from the lighting control panel. The track lighting is likely just 120 volt. And then you've got the devices here, which have the Q Link 1 cable with an empty triangle. You go up here to the empty triangle Q. This is QS control link wire. And that's a special Lutron cable. I'll show you that later. But it's important to understand your lighting controls. This one, first thing, so lighting, so you have lights going in. Light fixtures shall be owner furnished, contractor installed. So the owner is going to furnish the light fixtures, which means we don't have to get a quote on the fixtures. Power plan, we have a legend. We have some notes to go through. I see floor boxes here. I see saw cutting, stands out a little bit. We've got some elevation details. And it looks like we've got some floor boxes, so there's probably some saw cutting involved. Looks like they're doing some work at the cash wrap, so wiring devices. data outlets, maybe some saw cutting here, and then they're adding an exam room with some devices. Low voltage plan. We got the floor boxes, the data cable or data conduit that we already talked about, or I just mentioned. And then it looks like everything is existing as far as the electrical distribution system. So we got a main board, existing feeders, existing panels, and we're just modifying some of the circuits to accommodate the floor boxes and potentially new loads at the cash wrap and exam room. So now that we've got the drawings uploaded and sort of ready to go, we remove all light fixtures, lighting plan, we got owner furnished fixtures. Power plan, I saw a weird note in here. It says, owner to provide all switchgear, receptacle devices, and cover plates as part of this project. Contractor is responsible for installation of all switchgear, receptacles, and plates, including all wiring. So what does that mean exactly? They want to supply the receptacles, the data outlets, the floor boxes. I mean, that's a little weird. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some phone calls right now and see what I can find out about the project from these general contractors. Let's make some phone calls. We're going to call this first general contractor and see what we can find out about this project.
Thank you for calling GGC National Contractors. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, this is Chris Paris with XP Electric in Reno, Nevada. I'm calling you about your project, Eye Mart Express in Reno, Nevada. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the electrical scope and let you know I was bidding it and talk to you about the scope a little bit. So looking forward to hearing back from you. Phone number is 775. Thanks. Let's call the second general contractor.
The person you are trying to reach is currently unavailable.
Stephanie, hi, this is Chris Paris with XP Electric in Reno, Nevada, calling you about the Eye Mart Express project that I saw XP Electric was invited to. Give me a call, 775. Just like to talk to you a little bit about the electrical scope and so looking forward to it. Thanks. Bye. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to need saw cutting. So I'm going to call somebody that can do saw cutting. Hey man, what's up? How you doing?
Doing good, Chris.
Am I catching you at a bad time?
No, man, what you got? What's going on?
Well, I'm starting to bid a little bit more stuff in Reno, and there's this job at Eye Mart Express. And there's some floor boxes going in, like 6 of them, and there's a bunch of saw cutting. And I was thought of you.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
There's it's a post-tension slab. How do we handle that?
Well, you'd have to get it x-rayed. We do not do, so you'd have to call Tom Mason to x-ray it. And it's score it, jackhammer it, it's fucked, suck.
Yeah, but at least that's what the drawings say. I mean, who knows? But I could put the x-ray off on them. But
on general.
Yeah,
I find that extraordinarily odd that it's a post-tension slab.
It might not be. I mean, that's just what the drawings say. Okay, so it just makes it more complicated. But do you want me to send you the drawings?
Yeah, send me the drawings.
Okay. So I'll send you these drawings. This job doesn't bid until the 18th.
Okay. Yeah, just send them over, and that was a pretty easy one.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Bye. See, that is my buddy Russell, and he is going to facilitate the saw cutting on this project if we need it. So I'm going to send him an email with the drawings so that he can give me a price to saw cut for the floor boxes. So I'll come in, he'll saw cut, he'll remove the concrete, I'll install the floor boxes, the conduit, and then he'll patch the concrete for me. One thing that's interesting about this job though is we're going to have to x-ray the slab before we can cut it. And it says in the drawings that it's a post-tension slab. We don't know for sure if it's a post-tension slab. We have to go by what the drawings say. So if they x-ray the concrete, they're going to have to determine where those post-tension cables are. And if those post-tension cables are in the way of where the floor boxes need to go, then we kind of need to maybe reposition the floor boxes a little bit to accommodate that. So we'll figure that out here in a minute. Okay, so we're going to get into the takeoff, but first we are going to figure out what we need from our subcontractor to be able for them to quote the job for us. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go and we're going to define what we need from them. So let's scale the drawing. So 3/16 is an inch. And what I'm going to do is let's look at this floor box. So the floor box is S1PFB. Look that up. S1PFB floor box Hubble. It looks like it's just a regular plastic Hubble floor box. And you could download the spec sheet, which is what I do oftentimes. And then I'll just look at what we got here. Looks like the width of that box is about 6 inches. We're going to say that, let's see, we've got saw cut existing floor and provide a 1-inch conduit for power and an 1.5-inch conduit for data to each floor box. So we've got a 1-inch and an 1.5-inch going in this trench. So I would say that we want to do like, call it 1 foot by, so call it from there to, we'll go 7'6". What I'll do is I'll just mark this like this, fatten this line up a little bit, call that maybe a 12, 14, and I'll make that my default. So that way I can come over here and so I'm just going to say, I'm going to make a note here, 7'6" by 12 inches, typical of 3. We're going to go 1, and I'll just add a leader. 2, add leader. 3. And then on this one, we have 10 foot, 6 inches by 12 inches, and then that's typical of 3 as well. So let's see, add leader, and what do we got here? It looks like we've got saw cutting as well. Saw cut existing concrete floor and provide an 1.5-inch conduit for data to wall. To general, it's 9 and 10. Floor slab, 4.5-inch thick, post-tension slab with beams. Any saw cutting, blah, blah, blah. Post-tension slab, post-tension is located non-destructive means. X-ray, no work to penetrate existing slab can be begun, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we've got power and data that needs to go. What's 7? Provide an 1.5-inch conduit for data in wall. Provide commercial style spring on. Saw cut existing floor, provide an 1.5-inch conduit for data. Okay, and 1 inch for data, 1.5 for, okay. So then we need power under there too. So it looks like we've got 3/4 inch conduit going, and then we've got a bunch of 1.5 inch. So let's call that one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 1.5 inch and an 1.25 inch. Let's call that 2 feet. Let's open that up by 2 feet and go all the way to 7'6". Double that. And we'll call that one 2 feet. 2 feet by 7'6". 7'6" inches by 24 inches. And that looks like that's all the saw cutting that we need. So I'm going to save this drawing as and into my takeoff drawings and call it saw cut plan. And I believe that's all we need for saw cutting. So we're going to have them open up 2 feet here for our 1.5 inch, and then we're going to have them open up these 3 sections here and here for our floor boxes. And that's what we'll send over. So let's get this email started to my friend, and that will be, so this is going to be Eye Mart Express, floor box, and cash wrap saw cutting. Thanks. So and then I'll just take that file here and send that. And then I'm also going to attach the bid set of drawings because it's small enough, and why not? This job, I'll let them know this job, saw cut plan. And I'm just going to double check my saw cut plan drawing. Oh yeah, that's it. All right, cool. So let's get that email sent off. Also, you know, what I'd probably like to do is send an email to these other general contractors, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wrap it up for today. I'll pick up Takeoff tomorrow. We'll work on Takeoff for lighting and for power and everything else. So until tomorrow. All right, so we're back in the estimate, and we're going to do some Takeoff. We're just going to go ahead, and since this project, we don't have to buy the light fixtures. The owner's furnishing the light fixtures. I'm just going to go ahead and start with demo. So demo drawings, looks like they're just demoing out a piece of the store, and I don't know what it looks like inside there. I haven't went to visit the job site, but I'm just going to start with note 1, remove existing electrical devices in this area unless otherwise noted, remove conduit and conductors. Note 2, remove all light fixtures and controls in this area, remove conduit and conductors back to nearest J box for extension. 3 and 4, existing panel to remain. So first of all, what I'll do is mark these notes off so that I know that I read them, and whoever is going to review the job knows that you read the notes. And then I'll decide what I want to do with labor. I think based on my experience and what I would think this job would take, let's just take a quick look at the site again. It's going to be 6633 South Virginia. So it looks like it's this little TI right here. Eye Mart Express. So it's an after hours job. Parking's not going to be a problem. Getting tools in and stuff, no issue. I'm going to say that I'm going to add a temporary item, and I'm going to say demo. So I'm not going to put any material in there for it, and I'm going to put 16 hours, 2 people, 1 day, and that's what I'm going to put for demo. So first floor, building 1, base bid. I would just click that, and I would pull up this. That adds 16 hours to the job. So now, first thing we have is 16 hours. Demo, 16 hours. And if I see receptacles that are existing to remain on a sheet, I'll just go through here and sort of make notes. They're not really part of the scope, and it helps me and whoever else is going to be reviewing the job understand that you've looked at all this stuff and there's no scope associated with it. So that's going to be it for the demo drawing. Mark that complete, go to the lighting plan. Now, light fixtures. So light fixtures, first thing we're going to do is count light fixtures on the drawings. So what I've done already actually is I have pulled up all of specifications for all of the fixtures. I don't do this on every job, but I want to make sure that we understand what we're bidding as far as fixtures, what we're installing. So there's some 2x4 fixtures that's going in. It looks like there's some track lighting that's going in and some emergency and exit fixtures. So there's the flat panels we're putting in. There's the track light, Juno track. There's the track heads, exit sign, putting in these emergencies right here. Got some exit signs with emergency heads. And then we got a fixture similar to this on the outside, remote head. Yeah, so let's get started counting the light fixtures. First thing that we're going to do is build the fixture. So A1 fixture is a 2x4 LED troffer. So we're going to go over here and we're going to move this to light fixtures. We're going to change this to fixtures. We're going to create our A1 fixture. And I already have assemblies created, but I'm going to go ahead and build these from scratch so that you can see what we're doing. So we'll go to LED luminaires, go to modular, and then we're going to do a 2x4 modular recess T-bar. So that's our fixture. And then, we're also likely going to have the eye lags. So this is actually wood trusses. So I'm going to use the wood eye lag. And then we're going to go and find some ceiling wire, number 12. So we got our eye lags, we got our ceiling wires. We're going to have some screws on each corner. So we got 2 eye lags, 2 ceiling wires, 4 screws, and that's basically the fixture. We'll handle all the branch wiring, wire nuts, and stuff like that outside of this. So first, what I do is go through and create all of the fixtures in Fixture Schedule. Sometimes I'll break it up. Sometimes I'll create the fixture and then count the fixture. We just created this fixture, so I'm going to go ahead and count it. So I'm going to double click the fixture we just created, pull up live count, and then just start clicking away on the A1 fixtures. That's all the A1 fixtures. You press enter, and then it calculates 19 fixtures. When you go into your extension tab, which is something we'll talk about later, your material and your hours. This is where the material and hours accumulate based on what material you're installing. So we got the A1 fixture, we've got some screws, we've got some eye lags, some ceiling wires. These fixtures we're not going to need a price on, so we're going to just zero that out. These ceiling wires are about $200 a 100, about 2 hours 100. And so now we've already accumulated 32.95 hours in the job just by counting those fixtures. So the next fixture, and what I want to do once I've finished counting fixture, I'll go over here and just click that. B3, B6, and B8, those are 4, 6, and 8 foot Juno track lights. So it looks like we have an 8 footer, an 8 footer, 8 footer, 8 footer, 4 footer, 8 footer, 8 footer, 6 footer. Interesting though, but we only have 2 end feeds. So 2 notes 2 and note 5. Note 2 and note 5 call for a 3 amp end feed. Note 5 calls for a 2 amp end feed. So there's 3 end feeds on the track light. So 1, 2, 3, and then the track 90. So it looks like we're going to need a 90 track light 90 fitting there, some couplings. So I'm going to go ahead and build the track light fixture now. Let's go into here. We're going to build the B3 fixture, and we're going to go to track lighting. B3 is the 4 footer. Track lighting, 4 footer, surface mount. And then as far as fasteners goes, I don't know what the ceiling looks like. I think the truss height is 14 feet. The ceiling height is 10 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and include some strut just to be sure. Go and include just the same amount of strut that I would need for the fixtures. And then I would include some lag screws, maybe a couple 2-inch lag screws, and then some washers. Maybe a 1/4 inch flat washer. And that's what I would mount above the track. So let's call it 5 foot of strut, 3 lags, 3 washers. Now what I would do is drop some all thread. Let's use 1/4 inch all thread and 1/4 inch all thread. And then we're going to have some more washers. So we got the 1/4 inch flat washers, do some 1/4 inch fenders, 1/4 inch lock washers, and then do some hex nuts. And so probably going to just do 2 drops. So call that 10 feet. And then 4 washers, 2 lock washers, and 4 nuts. That would probably be pretty good for the track starter. Let's look at that drawing again, actually. So the way these fixtures are set up, looks like the 2 8-footers go with one, 2 8-footers go with another one. So we're basically building this one first. So we've got a 4-footer with a starter. Then we're going to have a 90 fitting, which I don't remember if I added that or not. Track lighting fixtures. Yeah, so track L connector surface. And then we're going to add an 8-footer, 2 8-footers, and a 6-footer. There's no 6-foot option, so we're just going to leave it at 8. So we say we got one of those. We've got 1, 2, 3 8-footers. Drops, we're going to say 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's call it 10 drops total. So 10 times 5, that's going to be 50, 15, 50, 20, 10, 25, and 10 drops, 5 feet each, 15 lag screws. So that's basically track 1. It's the starter. It's you know what? We got to add the live end feed. So we got to go to lighting and track fixtures, surface track fixtures, live end connector. So there we go. So that'll be good for that fixture. If you wanted to, you could even count the heads right now on each one of those fixtures, but I'm going to count those manually. So let's just work on the track right now. We got the track, we got the strut, 26, actually 20, call it 30 feet of strut. So then we grab that and open up live count and just count that fixture. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that what was it, a 2 amp, provide 3 amp end feed. We're going here, add lighting, track fixtures, system components, say 2 amp, note 2. Oh, it was a 3 amp. It's 3 amp current limiter. Boom. And that is that fixture. So that was note 2. All right, and then now these 2 8-footers with the starter. Let's just copy this. Call it track 2. And then we're going to substitute this for an 8-footer. Surface 8-footer. 1 8-footer is going to have 3 drops, so 8, 16. Call that 20 feet of strut. 6 lag screws, 6 of those. 30 feet, 3, 6, 9, 3, 12. Then we have no L on that one. And we have I think a 2 amp current limiter on that one. System components, 2 amp current limiter. So that'll be good. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, 20 feet of strut. Oh, shoot. You know what? I got to add the other track fixture. Joiner. Boom. Oh, you know what I got to add too is the end piece for the track fixtures. Where's it at? Dead end right here. So we got an 8-footer. Boom. Live end connection. How many drops do we have? There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops. 16 feet of strut. We've got 6 drops, 6 flat washers with lag screws to tie the strut to the truss. And then we have 6 drops at 5 foot each, 30 feet of threaded rod, fender washers, 2 at each, 3, 6, 9, that would be 18. Lock washers, we have 6 of them. Hex nuts, 2, 4, 6. This is 24 of those. So 24 washers also. Yeah. So track 2, grab that and count both of those. Now our track fixtures are counted. I'm just going to mark these notes off so that we know they're done. And let's count the track heads now. Let's just call that C fixture. We'll go to lighting tracks, track fittings, track luminaires. Let's just do like a universal track fixture. And then just grab that fixture, start counting. Counted all those fixtures. And now our track is done. Track heads are counted. Now we just need the exit light, which is an X fixture. That's this exit sign right here. Let's go ahead and build that exit sign. Oh, well, let's take another look at that. Where is the X fixture? So the X fixture is, do we have any X fixtures? There's X2, there's X3, X1. I don't actually see any X fixtures. So we'll move on to the X1. Back to live count. I'm just gonna make a note here. Fixture not used. Light fixture shall be owner furnished. I'm gonna mark that down in the proposal also. So X1 fixture is this simple fixture. Go ahead and build that with the X1, and it's a wall-mounted fixture. It's a wall-mounted fixture. Let's talk about this for a second. Where does the X1 go? So X1 wall mount, and then X1 wall mount. This note 6, so they're adding, almost didn't catch this, they're adding fixtures in these areas that looks like it's out of scope. But if you look at this note 6, it says egress light added to the space. So, we're going into an existing office and we're installing an exit light. So I'm probably going to use a cut-in box and some MC to build those. So let's do that. First, let's pick our emergency fixture. It's going to be a emergency battery pack, 2-head surface. Then we're going to go and we're going to just build this box. So boom, 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 boom. I'm going to look for those old work boxes. I don't actually use cut-in boxes very often in here. Masonry and concrete, non-metallic. Oh, rework boxes. Here we go. Old work box. You know what? I'm going to look something up real quick. Rayco single gang cut-in box. It's a Rayco 509. Let's look this up, if we can find a 509 in the database. Well, I don't understand. All right, well, I'm just going to reuse a regular box because it's essentially the same thing. 5/8" ring. Let's get a ground screw. And we're going to use some wafer head screws. We're going to have a couple wire nuts. So 1, 2, 3. X1. Count the X1 fixture. And then I mark that note off. So I know that it's done. And a lot of times too, if I don't need something, if it's distracting me, I'll just mark it off so I know that I don't need to look at it. Like this daylight harvesting zone doesn't really matter to me. These notes up here, just some general notes talking about what kind of cable to use, which we'll get into the lighting controls here in a little bit. Right, so we've got our A1 fixtures counted. We've got our X. This is not used. X1 is done. X2, exit light with emergency heads. X2, that's going to go right here. So that's looks like wall mount right above the door. Right above the door on the inside. So I'm just going to create a copy of this one. And we're going to substitute this out for a different kind of exit emergency combo. And then we'll call this X2. And then count that up. X2. X2, and then we have, it looks like, one more fixture, the X3. Let's go ahead and make a copy of that, modify it. We're going to substitute for a remote head lighting unit, weatherproof, and call that X3. Count that up. And now all of, oh, there's an X1 that I missed right there. So if I missed a fixture, I can just go here, right click, add to run, and pick that up. Now all of our fixtures are counted. And if we open up the estimate, you can see here that all of our fixtures are listed, and we've got all of our material associated with some of this stuff. So what I like to do actually when I'm not providing pricing, AccuBid will flag these areas red. So I just go in and I put a very small value, something to make the red flag go away on stuff that I'm not going to buy, like this 8-foot track here, these live ends, the L connector, the current limiter. I need to make sure that I am supplying that, but I think the owner is supplying that. And then the dead ends for the track. So all the parts and pieces are in there. We've got 80 hours in the job so far. The next thing that we're going to do is look at the lighting controls. So how are we going to control these fixtures? We know how many fixtures we have now. Now we're going to look at how to control them based on this lighting control schedule here. And it looks like they've got some stuff specified. And so we'll look at the cut sheets for that stuff. We'll look at the cut sheets for the aux sensors and for the wall keypads. We'll look at the cut sheets for the cable, and then we'll do takeoff on the lighting controls on this sheet next. So stay tuned for the next part of the estimate. All right, what's going on? It is 12/17/24 at 7 a.m. and I've got some other things to do today for some clients, so I need to hurry up and get this bid done. And where we left off was lighting controls. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate, we're going to take off the lighting controls based on how they have it drawn up here. So first thing to start is equipment, and I went ahead, I don't do this on every job, but I like to understand again what I'm installing, what we're going to be installing, and how to labor it. I looked at all the pieces and parts, and this is the controller that's going in right here. Looks like they're going to be installing that above the ceiling here. Notes 1 and 4. See lighting controls diagram and connect to existing lighting circuit. Okay, so we're installing this controller here above the ceiling, and we're going to feed it with existing power in the area. Then based on the lighting controls, we've got, looks like these are the track lights. So those are just going to be 120 volt. Those are probably relays inside there. And then these sensors here, it shows what kind of cable. So this little dot right here on this one is 2 number 12s and a ground. Then you've got this little symbol here. It's like the infinity symbol, which is 3 number 18s, which we're using this Belden cable here, or at least that's what I'm going to use. So we got the switch, we got the Belden cable that we're going to use. There's another kind of cable that goes from the controllers to each keypad, and they're calling, that's this symbol here. So empty triangle Q with a link. Empty triangle Q, link 1, 2, and 3. So that cable right there is defined here. And they tell you to use Lutron cable under 500 feet. That cable is right here. So there's a couple 18s in there, there's a couple 22s, and there's a 24 AUG. Next, we've got sensors, and we've got power packs and keypads. So power pack, the PPDV, that's actually a non-dimming power pack, and then they've got it paired with dimming fixtures. So I'm not sure what they're doing there, but we're going to use luminary cable. There's a single button keypad for the exam room, and then they call for a 4 button, but they don't make a 4 button. It's a 5 button. Maybe they did make a 4 button, but now they have a 5 button. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zones, and then which you can see we've got A, B, C, D for the rooms. There's one there, and then there's one there. And then we've got a low volt dimmer in the exam room. 2 of them. So, right. So we know that we're running just regular cable to the track lights from the controller. We know that we're running Lutron cable from the controller to each one of the sensors. And then we're running the Belden cable, 3 conductor to each one of the sensors. And then we're running the Lutron cable between the keypads. I've already actually went ahead and created the items inside of my database to save some time. So anytime stuff like that comes up, I like to build the pieces. So a lot of times I'll build my lighting controls by system. And so I go through and first I create all the items, pricing and labor and all that kind of stuff. And then I go through and create an assembly. And this assembly you can see is just the item and then some fasteners or screws. If it's a power pack, it probably has a box, blank cover, some screws associated with it. So I've got the Lutron cable here. I've got the 18.3 cable. I've got half-inch stubs, 3/4-inch stubs. So for the counts on the devices, on the switches and stuff, that's just going to be a box with an empty conduit stub, and then we'll run the cable. It'll be open cable from the controller keypads and out to the occupancy sensors. So it should be relatively straightforward once you have your assembly set up and you understand the control system. Takeoff goes pretty quick. So let's do the controller first. So first we change our bid system because it's a different color in live count. And so let's do our count our controller. And I'm just going to mark these notes off as I go, just like normal. We got sensors, belt and cable. So let's count the sensors. So we're going to go, it's the 2000. And then there's a vacancy there, which I'm just going to use an aux sensor. Actually, I'll change the name of that. Got our aux sensors counted, and then we're going to count that one separately, aux sensor, and then we'll change that. We'll change the name in here. We'll just call this one a vacancy. And counted our aux sensors. I'm just going to mark these off so I know we can keep track of how far we are in the estimate. Seems like it takes a long time to do this kind of stuff. You know, it was a lot easier when it was just a highlight, but it helps you keep track of the estimate because you know that it's done, you know. So next we're going to count the keypads. So let's do the power packs, keypads, and finish off the aux sensors. Already counted all those vacancies. What's next? Let's do the power packs. Power pack here, power pack here, power pack here. Here. You might decide in the field that you want to put those power packs somewhere else. You could put all those power packs right next to that enclosure. Maybe you mount power packs right to the enclosure. However you want to do it. There's always more than one way of doing something. So okay, so power packs, keypad. We're gonna do a 5-button keypad with a 1/2-inch stub here. Boom, boom. Actually, what I'm going to do is remove this because I have not fed those yet. And then we have the single button keypad, the 1/2-inch stub, and we'll go boom, boom. So now we've got our light fixtures counted. We still got to feed everything with power. So our light fixtures are counted, our lighting controls devices are counted, our power packs, our keypads, right? Those are done. Now we just got to run cable between them. So it's open cable. Let's start with the occupancy sensors. Again, that little symbol right there stands for 3 number 18s. In this case, I'm using this Belden 3 conductor. So let's grab this Belden cable, which I've created up as an assembly. I'm just going to go from the controller to each occupancy sensor. So we'll go that. You can see from the power pack. So now we've run all this cable and this one. What's next? We have our power pack to the light, which we'll take care of, and then we got power pack power. So that's done, and now we just have the Lutron cable. Let's select our Lutron cable up here, and we're going to go from the controller to the switch. We're going to add 20 feet. And call it good. And then we're going to go from this keypad to this keypad and add 20 feet per the lighting controls diagram. Keypads are daisy chained, and that is how you take care of lighting controls. The next thing that we're going to do is finish the branch wiring. So we're going to feed the controller here. We're going to feed the power packs with power and get our branch wiring taken off so that we can move on to a power draw. So see you on the next section. Okay, we're back. And I think where we left off was branch wiring. We did the lighting controls, we counted the light fixtures, we counted up the lighting control devices, and we ran the cable for the lighting control. So now I think what we're going to do is run the branch wiring, and that means the cable, MC cable. I'm going to use MC cable to run all the power to all the places where I need power, and then we'll run all the switch legs. So I've actually got to hurry up and get this done because people are calling me about it. I just got a phone call today and yesterday from general contractors asking for the number, which tells me they probably don't have very good coverage. I also got the saw cutting quote, but I don't have the concrete x-ray number yet. I made a phone call, but I'll probably just exclude the x-ray, and depending on if this exceeds my bid limit or not, I'll either include or exclude the saw cutting. But if I exclude the saw cutting, then I'm gonna forward them the quote for the saw cutting so that they are covered. Yeah, okay, so anyway, first thing I'm going to do is run all the power out. So we've got a night light here that is powered all the time. We've got, so note 4 is connect to existing lighting circuit in this area. I didn't go walk this job, so I don't know where the existing lighting circuit is. I'm just going to assume that I can pick that up within 20 or 30 feet. So I'm going to grab some MC cable, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to pick it up, say right here. And I'm just going to run everything out, all the power. So hit all the locations where I need constant power. That means all the emergency fixtures. That means the lighting controls, controller, and then the power packs are switch legged. So it looks like we got to hit a power pack right here in the exam room. So we'll go boom. We'll go to this lighting controller. We need constant power there for that circuit. We need constant power at this power pack for power, and then we need all of the I'm just going to tie all these together, all the emergency fixtures they're adding. May be able to pull power closer than the areas that I'm showing, but if we have enough cable to cover whatever we need to cover, it's going to be better than not. So looks like we got all of the power ran between the fixtures. Remote lighting. Now I'm going to do switch legs. So switch legs, looks like we've got power. Now note 4 is power. Good there. Going to bring power into that lighting controller, and then outside. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up. So quickly, let me open a drawing here, and we're going to go to specs, lighting controls, and I wanted to just talk about this for a second because this might confuse some people. Lighting controls always seems to be a confusing thing. So what they have here shown on this drawing is this lighting controller going in. They're called a soft switch. I've actually never installed one of these, but they specify this, and then they specify the PPDV power pack. So the PPDV power pack takes in power, and then you've got a 3 conductor that ties in the occupancy sensor. So you hit it with power, and then your switch leg, right? So it's a dual power pack. So you've got normal power, you've got emergency power, and then you've got your switch leg. And you've got this controller here that ties, say, your low voltage devices like your keypads, your aux sensors with low voltage, and then you've got your switch loads, and then you've got your 0 to 10 volt channels. So this doesn't actually need a power pack. So when you look at what they've got here, they've got power packs for the track lighting. They've got power packs for these lights up here. The A1 fixtures are dimmable. The track lighting is not dimmable. So I believe, based on their intent, they don't need power packs for these track lights because they are using that controller. So the 120 volt switch loads, which this does 4, will come straight out of this controller. And then for the 0 to 10 volt dimming stuff, I'll just bring luminary cable out of this controller. So I think their drawings are incorrect. They've got it designed as if power packs were, they hit a power pack and then an aux sensor. So this one controller controls everything. The one controller, if you remember, we've got a specialty cable that goes from the controller to the keypads, and then we've got a 3 conductor that goes from the controller to each aux sensor. So that'll be each zone, and then the 120 volt loads will be MC out of the controller to the track light, and then luminary cable out to the dimming loads for the A1 fixtures. So anyway, interesting, kind of. Right. And so now what we're going to do is we've got power ran out. Now I'm going to run switch. So first thing I'm going to do is go from the controller to the track light. I'm going to go from this track light to this track light. Track lights are done, and we've got luminary cable. and we'll go from here to, oh, you know what I just noticed? I'm missing this night light right here. I'm going to go from, I think it was this was the last one. I'm going to hit this night light constant, and then I'll pick up my luminary cable. So from the controller, it'll go to the first, just hit the first fixture. So that takes care of the track lights. We've got the night lights covered. We've got the track lights. We've got all the 2x4s in the sales area. Now we just got to take care of the exam room. We've already hit the power pack power. Now we're going to use luminary cable from the power pack to the fixture. And then we're going to use, oh, I don't think that we did the controls in there. Let's go back to lighting controls. And we'll go, I think it was the Lutron cable from there to keypads. Feet. Okay, so that takes care of this drawing. Now I'm going to mark this complete, double check everything. Looks like we're good. Got labor for everything. I ignored the power packs. I mean, I just went straight to the track light. I did count the power packs, but I ignored the branch. So anyway, I've got to hurry up and get this thing done. So I'm just going to try to kind of breeze through it. First thing I need to do is go through these notes. So this is kind of weird. So the owner is providing all switchgear receptacles and cover plates. So they're providing receptacles, which is weird. Verify, looking for anything that's going to stand out before I Okay, so they're saying we've got some saw cutting, which we already knew, and we've got the x-ray of the concrete, which we already knew. What I would do is I would come over here to my estimate, and I would say saw cutting, removal, and patch, and I would pull up the number that I got. This is the number that we got from, so 65 feet, 18 inches wide, 5 inches deep, $4,900. One thing to note is that they did not include night work. This job is a night job, so I asked them for how much it would be to do it after hours, but if they don't get back to us, that's okay. We'll just, we'll budget it. We'll apply a factor. Then one thing I'm going to do is note here that it excludes night shift and OT hours. And then I'm going to put an alarm for that. I'm also going to make an alarm for concrete x-ray so that I don't mess that up and forget. Get rid of all these other ones that I don't need. General expenses, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so we've got saw cutting covered. We've got no work to penetration the slab. We'll add all this in the proposal. 1 inch conduit for power, 1 inch, 1.5 inches for data. So no, let's just start with the floor boxes. Oh, looks like we need a quote on these floor boxes. Let's get these counted up. Great items. You know what I might do on these is just come up with a budget. I'm not going to have time to get a quote. So I'm going to budget these. And the way that I would do that is by looking up the part numbers. And then it looks like we've got, so there's a floor box, duplex style inline decorator subplate with Hubble cover. Okay, so what I would do is I would look this up. So I've already looked up the floor box on my trade services, and it tells me the average market price is $35.01. I'm just going to run with that. I'm going to put that in here as $35, and I'm going to put it in as 2 hours. That's a temporary item. The next item I'm going to create is the cover, and that was, let's just write them down first. So the cover is a S1C-FCAL. Then we've got provide a duplex receptacle Leviton, and a 3-port style line Hubble. So Recep, which is 5352-E. We've got data frame, which is a ISF4GY, and then we've got an ISF6GY. Now what we're going to do is just look those up. Cover says list price none, $191.82, $191, and then I'm going to put half hour on the cover. We've got 5352-E. What's that? That is the black receptacle. Now it says that they're going to provide the receptacle. the notes specifically say to provide them. So I'm going to include the receptacles for, so reset, and that's going to be the 5352-E, 3 cents each. And these are usually, and we're going to do the the ISF, 1SF, 4GY, or ISF. 3-port frame, and that is ISF 4GY. 4-port, $4, 36 cents each. And then, I don't know, put that as, and then also we've got that ISF 6GY, and that is a 6-port frame. And that costs for 5. Okay, so now that we've got the items situated in temporary items, so I added each one of these items, labor, material, and now I'm going to go over here and say create a temporary assembly, and I'm going to use these items to create that assembly. So I've got a floor box, we've got the cover, we've got the receptacle, we've got the 4-port frame and the 6-port frame. Now, if we look back at the drawings, that note 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 floor boxes, and they're saying provide a duplex receptacle, 3-port line decorator frame, 4 data locations at this location. Provide a 1-inch conduit for power and an 1.5-inch conduit for data. See general notes 10 and 11 for. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that off because I know what that is now, and then I'll count these floor boxes. We already got somebody to come and saw cut it and scratch it for conduit. Now what we're going to do is change this to wiring devices, and let's count floor boxes. And so now that we've got those floor boxes counted, you can see based on our assemblies that we used with the temporary items, it assigned $1,400 in material and 18 hours. And so just like that, you've got time and material based on average market price for material and NECA labor rates for the floor boxes. Another thing that I'm going to do, they talk about saw cutting here. Branch wiring, provide 1 inch and 1.5 inches. Okay, so conduit now. Now these walls go up. Normally I would look at how high the walls go up. It's a 10-foot ceiling, I believe. So I'm going to say just 10 feet from the floor to the ceiling, and then I'll put a box. Maybe I'll do 12 feet. But what I would do is create an assembly. So let's create a temporary assembly just to look at it for fun. We're going to have, so if we go to my common assemblies and we have, say, underground, they wanted a 1 inch. So let's do 1 inch PVC, EMT, and then let's make this floor box to above ceiling. So I threw some 1 inch in there, and then we're going to have some EMT too. So I'm just going to, now I already have assemblies for all this stuff, but I'm making them because I want you to see how easy it is to do it. So we know PVC, this is a little crash course. So PVC is going to be a link. I'm going to make everything else almost absolute. So I'm going to say I want couplings. I want at least 1 coupling per run, absolute. They want rigid 90s. So we're going to have, it looks like we're going to go straight into the box. So we'll just have 2. We'll have 190. As far as EMT, let's call it 12 feet, 2 connectors, no couplings. Strut straps, no. I'm going to use 1-hole straps. So I'm going to grab some 1 inch 1-hole straps, EMT, and I'm going to grab, so call that 3 straps, move that up. We got a 4 and 11 box. We're going to need some screws, fasteners, screws, wafer head, 1 inch. Let's move those up. We'll call it 3 straps each. We got 4 and 11 box with a blank cover and a ground screw. We're going to add some screws for that. Call that 3 more screws. We got some wire nuts, greeny wire connectors. Let's just get rid of those for now. These we're not going to need. And poly twine we're going to have twice because actually I'm not even going to include. So that's for power. So basically what you have is when I measure it, the conduit is going to measure based on length, and then it's going to give me absolute values for all these other items. So I'm going to have PVC conduit from the floor box to the wall, and then I'll have a coupling. I'll have a couple female adapters. It'll transition with a rigid 90, and then EMT up the wall with a couple connectors. Actually, it looks like I am going to need a coupling. So I'm going to go into EMT and add a 1 inch coupling. Just move that up there so you can see that. And then I have some screws. We have the box and a blank. So basically just empty conduit, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing for the 1.5 inches so that we know that we're good on those. So let's go ahead and use that. I'm going to double click this, and that's going to be power. So I'm going to say branch wiring, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go from here to here, from here to here, here. That takes care of the 1 inch for power. Now I'm going to build an 1.5 inches just like that one for data. And then that's just going to be a conduit stub to above ceiling though with a bushing. I won't need to put a box on that. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this too because we know that what that is. I'll mark these existing to remain receptacles as red so I know that I looked at them, but I don't need to do anything with them. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get the rest of this stuff taken care of. We got existing panels, which are, where are our panels? Okay, 3 and 4, existing panel M and panel A. 3 is M, 4 is A, M, A. So A33, so I'm going to bring a home run over here, bring it out 2 feet, and then I'll bring it over wall, up. So home run length. We know the ceiling is 10 feet, panels are usually 6 feet, so that gives us 4 feet to the ceiling plus a couple extra feet. So I'm going to say 6 feet to the home runs. A lot of people just say 10, but that would be just, too much. So I got conduit over here to this home run. I'm going to bring another 3/4 inch with 5 number 12s down the wall, and then I'll bring another one with 3 over here. So now we know that we have wire to the top of the wall with cable. But what we're going to want to do is, since we've already did the conduit, we want to grab some wire, some number 12 like this, and go boom, grab some wire. And we want to add, call it 15 feet. So now that's the cable from the box at the top of the wall down to the floor box. I'm going to open this up, and we actually need 3. So I'm going to say 3. So now it gave us 65 feet. And what I'm going to do is, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, I'm just going to copy. I'm going to copy this over. 1, we're going to have 6 total. We'll just do that. And then we have the cable. That covers the cable from the wall to, and then I go into the panel schedule. So we got A33, 35, and 37. A33, 3, 5. Note 1 says to terminate onto an existing. So there's no breakers that we have to provide. According to the documents, everything is existing. I'll go back to power plan. I'm going to run these home runs, or this home run over to this other, bring those in together. I like to just group the home runs so that I know kind of how it's going to look when I build the conduit racks. I just ran that home run over. We're going to do 5, 3, 39, 40, 39, 40, and 71. Takes care of floor boxes, more power. So, boom, boom. We're not going to do any of these data cables. That's not in our scope. Note 5. What's note 5? Saw cut existing concrete floor and provide 1.5 conduit for data to wall. See general note. Okay, more 1.5. Now we just created that 1.5 assembly. If I go to my temporary assemblies and I go to communication, pull up that 1.5. I think I'm just going to go from here to there, and then we'll modify that. So it says 5 of them. We got 7 feet of that, and then we're going to want probably 290s. So let's see, 4 adapters, 290s. This is Chris.
Chris Wyatt, 9 o'clock.
What's up, man?
Hey, sorry, email there. I'm also bidding that to the GC Horizon, sending that to them as well.
They haven't responded to me at all, but Horizon Retail Group is bidding it. I don't know if I'm going to send them a number or not. Well, I did my due diligence on this one. I reached out to a bunch of generals. There's like 4 general contractors that are bidding it. They're all from out of state, like Oklahoma, Wisconsin. We'll probably get the job, I'm sure. I think we will. $3,000. Okay. Thanks, man. See you. Bye. All right. So he wanted us to add another $3,000. So I think we added, we're going to say verbal, add $3,000 for after hours work and whatnot. Extension. Okay. So yeah, we just modified this to be PVC stub with 1 inch EMT. Let's make that 15 feet of EMT. And then let's go 2 connectors, and then we're going to go 2 insulated bushings too, and then we're also going to add a strap. And then I'll just copy that 5 times. So we got 1, makes it easy. 5, 7, 1.25 inch for data in wall to accessible ceiling space. Now that note, I think they're talking about 5 E2.12. I think they're talking about, oh no, that's 1.5 inch. That's 2 inch. 7. So what else we got? Note 2, branch circuit wiring exam room shall be run in metal conduit and shall include grounding conductor. Note 1 is done. Note 2. Next is going to be home runs. So it looks like we've got some underground conduits we got to get over here. There's 6 number 12s. So we're just going to use that EMT PVC combo. We're going to use 1 inch. I'm just going to bring that over like that. And we're going to go to common assemblies. We're going to bring a home run over 7 number 12s from 6 number 12s from, panel A. So bring that over 6 feet. Oh, I haven't even counted the devices yet. So let's count the wiring devices too. Counting the wiring devices. Let's see. So I brought the home run over. Now I'm just going to bring wire down there. Bring number 12s here. You know what? I just realized I need to modify this to include the other 90s. I'm going to say 2 couplings, 4 adapters, 2 90s, 3 connectors, and then we've got a box. Let's call that 2 boxes. Nice. Now let's grab the wire. Now that we've got conduit infrastructure, call this 15. As far as under the counter stuff, we probably would wire that in flex, but I'm just going to use EMT for now. So branch wiring, EMT 8480. Oh, what the heck? They've got 4 circuits going down there. 8 number 10s. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. So we have 2 runs. Then we're going to run our number 10s, our number 10 home runs. We're going to say 3/4 inch from panel A to here, which is 6 feet. And then we'll do another one with 3 number 10s from here. Now we got our home runs. Now we just need to grab some wire, do the same thing. 15. All right. Now common assemblies, branch wiring, branch, and we're going to go, let's just run it. Let's just run this in MC. So basically from here, we're going to get, oh, I see. You know what's happening here? They called out 8 number 10s and a 1 inch right there. And what I did was wrong. So we do want those home runs, but we don't want that home run right. Okay, yeah, got rid of that home run with the number 12s. We got 8 number 10s and a number 12 going down and a 1 inch. So that, then we've got the number 10s going down, and then that hits that first box, and then it drops down to 12. So let's go to common assemblies. I'll go to branch wiring, MC, and then I'll just start hitting each one of these together with items. Just running these together. Again, I'll use flex to wire these probably, but we know that we've got the material. And I like to highlight these because it helps me to understand what circuits are done and what circuits are not done. So it's 78, 80, 82, and 84. Power plan. Okay, so front cash wrap is done. Highlight that off. 78, 80, 82, and 84 home run. Done. That's done. Let's do the backup counter. I already got the receptacles. What home runs are we bringing over? Looks like A58, A60, and then we can bring A64 over as well. Grab my home runs, 7 number 12s, panel A, and we'll just bring that right here. And then we'll run MC for the receptacles. MC, and 58, 60, and 64. And then MC in the wall from here to here. What's this? This box, 84 inches. I think that's that 2 inch. Got the receptacles, got data. Oh, you know what? There's another data. Oh, you know what I should do is probably count these boxes. Let's go to communications and let's do a data stub here. And then let's do another data stub. 2, 3, 4, 7 there. But then what we're going to do is we're going to modify that assembly to get rid of all that conduit. Or make it less maybe because they don't need that many. Let's just leave the boxes and the plates. So now we've got the data stubs there. We've got the 1.5-inch data stubs for that stuff, the boxes. And we've got this box at 84 inches here. That's a 2-inch. So it looks like we need to create an assembly for the 2-inch. Actually, I already have one, I think. Communications, 2-inch data stub. Here we go. So I'm just going to count that right here. That takes care of that. This, no. Done. Now what else? There's a receptacle with a T. What does that mean? Duplex tamper resistant. Okay, that's normal. Let's make that one of these. And then what do we got? Those are just above counter. GFI receptacle. Those are all GFI. Let's go common assemblies, wiring devices, switches, boom, GFI, GFI. We got more data stubs here. Data. It looks like we can run some branch wiring for these receptacles since we have that home run. And that'll take care of these. What other home runs do we have? We have 81 and 66. What's note 6? So we have a wound timer and an inch. Oh, this is done. What else do we got? Clock receptacle. 81. Right, so 81 and 66 home runs. 3/4 inch, 5 number 12s from panel A. And then we'll go all the way down. I'll bring that to right here. That's 6. And we're going to go MC from there. Run box to receptacle. Boom. In wall. Clock receptacle also. DP124. Where's that? Let's see. A66 and 81 is done. 61. Looks like that's all of them. What's DP1? Where is DP1? DP124. I have no idea where that's at. So those receptacles are done. Those receptacles are done. Those data J boxes, I don't know what those are. So let's see. Clock receptacle, wire grommet. I don't think this one applies. These ones certainly do not apply. And what else do we have? By the door, we have receptacles. Hey, wife, what's up? Oh, thanks. That's awesome. Looks like these panel schedules are done. I'm just going to mark that off. And then this sheet is complete. You know what? The low voltage plan, by the way, I don't have any low voltage scope. So, and it looks like we've got these, we've got this, we got that. I'll hit these J boxes on the other drawing. So this drawing really doesn't apply to them. But I'm going to make a note that says C power plan for Takeoff. And then mark that complete. And then let's see what else we got. Commercial style spring wound auto timer, torque C530M. 30-minute timer. Average market price $42.16. $42.16. So timer 42.16. Call that 10 minutes. We're going to make a custom assembly. So I'm going to go to common assemblies. I'm going to go to wiring devices, switches, flush, single pole switch. And then I'm going to get rid of this toggle switch and toggle plate. We're going to call this the timer. Go over here to temporary items. Pull the timer. Now we have a device. I can say I'm done with this note. Note 6. When I go over to my wiring devices, grab my timer, count that, and then we're going to use MC. I don't believe that I've ran wire for that yet. We're going to use MC. Go from here to here, and then we're going to use MC here to here. Awesome. Then we have the clock receptacles. Clock receptacles. What should we use for that? What's this? Let's look it up. So clock receptacle. That would be average market price of $16.16, 10 minutes on it. And then we're going to copy and we're going to modify this to be the clock receptacle. Get rid of the timer. Go to temporary items. Clock receptacle, add that. That. Clock receptacles. Boom, boom. Clock. DP241. I have no idea what panel that is, but and then it looks like we have, I don't know what these are, JB444 PVC box with cover. And then we have light switch. Okay, so we did that. Well, light switch is not right there, actually. Wire way through all panel. 2-inch PVC conduit in wall. So they have these plastic boxes, these JB444 PVC box with 2-inch PVC conduit in the wall. It looks like they're connecting these two and that one, and then it looks like these two connect. So that's kind of weird. Let's look at this, JB444 PVC. Can I find this? JB444. Super weird. Well, you know what? AccuBid probably has one. So let's just make a temporary assembly. Let's go to boxes and cabinets. Let's go to PVC boxes, steel, non-metallic boxes. Oh, PVC junction boxes. So 4x4. So they're saying it's a 4x4 by 6. And then I'm going to also add some TSGB and then some screws. So JB444. And we're going to call that 2 of those probably 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 screws. Let's count those J boxes up. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got 2-inch PVC also. So let's create an assembly for some 2-inch PVC. So we got 2-inch PVC. We're going to have probably some couplings. We're going to want a male adapter, 2-inch. We're going to want probably some lock nuts, 2-inch. Probably some straps, right? Some 2-hole straps, 2-inch. Probably some screws. What else? Bushings maybe. Let's grab some non-metallic 2-inch bushings and call that good. So we'll call this 2-inch PVC. And per length, we'll go coupling. We want 1 coupling per 2 male adapters per 2 lock nuts. Let's call that 2 1-hole straps, 4 screws, and then 2 bushings between each one. 3 plus 2, it's 5 feet. And then we have that one that goes up and over. So this one from here to here, and this one from here to 2. That's going to be 3. Oh, you know what? Call that 10, just for a little extra. And then we need a circuit, DP124. I don't know what that is. We're going to grab it and we're going to pull it from one of these panels. I'm just going to bring it from right here. And that DP1 is the clock. So let's bring that over there. So we're covered. MC cable, we're going to go from here to the clock. And that takes care of everything. So now this branch wiring and wiring devices page is done. That completes the estimate takeoff portion. I'm just going to mark these as completed, and I'm going to stop and eat. And then when I come back, we will finish off the estimate. We'll go through all the material and labor, and we'll get down to a final price, and then we'll finish off the proposal. So I'll see you in a second. All right, and we're back. So now that we're done with takeoff and we know that we've got all the parts and pieces in there, the next thing that we do is a bid review. Since I'm by myself, I'm not really too concerned with having someone else review it, obviously, because I'm alone. But what I will do is go through and just fill in some things that are missing that I know probably have some close. Oh, actually, you know what? The first thing I need to do is run the pricer. So once you do this, I'm just going to pull pricing for average market price for everything. And my AccuBid is going to go and find pricing for the average market price for all the material. So I'm going to send that to the job. As you can see down here now, it's $19,768 in material. And once we click OK, it's going to adjust based on the market value. So it went way down. And then there's some red items in here that are sort of flagged because they don't have pricing. So I'm just going to go in here and add a few dollars to the items that I know I can adjust. This 18.3 audio cable, I don't know what that is. That's got to be $350, 1,000, maybe 700, 1,000. Yeah, you know what? Let's look that up. So that 18.3 control cable is the Belden 8770. Let's see what the 8770 Belden goes for on trade services. Is that the one? 8770, that's the one. So it says that the Belden cable is list price, average market price, $2,058, $2,058.97. But here's the interesting thing though. We've only got 113 feet, right? And if they only sell it in 1,000-foot rolls, then that means you're going to have to buy a whole 1,000 feet just for 113 feet. So if we only left $232 in there we would have to end up eating some of that cost. So we need to make sure we have costs for a whole 1,000-foot roll. So 1,000-foot roll looks like, what did we say it was? It was, it's $2,058.97. We've got $232 in there now, right here. So we go 2,058 minus 232, call it $1,826. We're going to call that Belden cable, 1,824. So now that we're covered there, that's the deduct. These control terms don't have a cost. Limiters shouldn't have a cost because they're being provided by the owner. Control term So what I do is I go through all the items and make sure everything's good. No red flags. I got all my temporary items that I made down here. Then what I'll do is I'll sort by material and I look at the biggest costs. And so I go through and I look at these sensors. So the sensors are going to be provided by the owner, so we don't need those. The covers, I believe, floor boxes and stuff, we're going to provide those. This energy saver thing, we're not providing that. We're not providing the keypads. We are going to provide the floor boxes. We're not providing the power packs. Let's get rid of that cost. What else? It says owner to provide all receptacle devices and cover plates. Okay, so then let's go down here to receptacles. Whatever. That's what they want to do. They think it's going to save them a bunch of money. But one thing I want to note is that any material that the client provides is not going to be covered under the warranty. So if they provide fixtures, they provide wiring devices, lighting control devices, none of that's covered under the standard 1-year warranty. And if they don't like it, then I suggest that you don't do business with those people. We need to look at this Lutron cable too, because that's going to have an additional cost. So our receptacles are going to be zeroed out and our GFIs are going to be zeroed out. We are going to provide the receptacles for the floor box, the timer, the clock receptacle, presumably floor boxes, this GRX cable. I don't know what this is. I don't know what the cost is on that cable. Well, it's $931 a thousand, and we've got $193. So you figure $179. So we're $750 short. Let's call that Lutron cable add of $750 because we're going to have to get it in probably a 500-foot roll or a 1,000-foot roll. So I think that covers material. Got this conduit. Strut's always a little heavy, so material is probably good. Hours, where are we at? Demo time, we've got majority of time is in floor boxes. That's weird. There's really not a lot of hours in this job. 275 hours. Direct labor, incidental, labor factoring, none. Labor escalation, none. Indirect labor. Usually I like to include, I'll include 5% of the job. I'll allocate 5% of the job to project manager and then look at it and then maybe adjust it to like 2 days. I'd also charge them for the estimate. Why not? Try to put it in there because they seem desperate. Okay, so we got our saw cutting number. We got our ad for night work. The concrete x-ray, I don't know what that's going to cost. I really don't. We could put in a budget of like probably what it's going to cost. General expenses, no equipment, quoted material. Final price puts us at $53,041, which is skewing the number. And then 20 puts us at $53,000. That is higher than my bid limit. So what I'm going to have to do is exclude. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to exclude x-ray. We're going to exclude. So I'm just going to write these numbers in so that I can remember what they were. And then we'll just exclude those values. Then that should bring the number down pretty good. I'm going to put some contingency. You know what? They seem really desperate with this job. I'm going to beef up those profit margins a little bit. I'm going to go out at like 46 grand. The thing is, it's a night job. I don't know how much of a pain in the neck it's going to be, but from what I understand, the 4 contractors that I know of right now that are bidding the job are lacking coverage. There's one contractor out of Sacramento that I found out that's bidding the job. So if they're coming from Sacramento, then that means they have to include travel likely. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe they got someone here, but I don't really want the job that bad. Taking the job at, sort of good, fair margins right now would be fine, but I've got a little room and I'm feeling froggy. So I think I'm going to add 15% to the job and call it good and see where it goes. Well, look at it like this. So how would another contractor price it? Would they go maybe 55 an hour and then final price, let's say there's no contingencies, and then they add travel and per diem, which a few weeks, a week anyway, an extra $5,000. And then if they made their profit margins healthy, $42,000, something like that, I bet is the number. But I'm going to price it the way that I want to price it. Because I think maybe, just maybe, if we get this job, maybe I'll add $5,000 to it. Call it 46. So maybe we'll just add 12%. So there's the number, 46,804. The next thing that I'm going to do is write up the proposal. So let's open that up. Okay, so I think the number that we're going to go with is 46,804. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just type that in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back through the scope and we're just going to type it in. Normally, what I do is I go through the scope as I type it up as I go, but I was in a little bit of a hurry. Project description is tenant improvement. So what we have is a tenant improvement project. It's a type 2B construction. Type 2B construction. Let's see, tenant improvement project for Eye Mart Express, located at 6633 South Virginia Street, Reno, Nevada. Work to include. And then I'll say a little description of the project. It's an interior remodel of an existing Eye Mart. The space that's going to be, it doesn't really matter. And you're going to want to list the engineer. Designed by, dated, what's the date of the drawings? 11/20. So I always put exactly format they have. And then you list the sheets that your takeoff, which you can find those. So we're going to be sheets E0.1, 0.1, E1.1, E2.1, E2.2, and E3.1. And the scope of work, clarifications. Next, what are we doing on this? Okay, so the first thing that we're doing is install light fixtures furnished by owner. We'll just, what I like to do? I like to put the exceptions in italics. So I'll say install light fixtures, and then I'll say light fixtures furnished by owner, and then I'll just italicize it. So instead of putting it in the exclusions, like some people might do, it's not, it just looks better in my opinion. So we're going to say install lighting control equipment and devices. Equipment and devices. Let's say equipment and devices furnished by owner. Let's see, furnish and install all lighting control cabling and final terminations. One thing we want to do is excludes standard 1-year warranty for all light fixtures, lighting controls, wiring devices, etc. furnished by owner. What else? We've got all the branch wiring. We've got the keypads, the lighting control devices, the power packs. Power. Okay, we want to, what are we doing? We are furnishing and install floor boxes as shown and specified. Furnish, I would say we're going to install all wiring devices and cover plates as shown. Let's say wiring to devices and plates furnished by owner. Oh, you know what? We probably want to have a clarification. Let's see. Includes. Oh, we want to exclude. We're excludes X-ray concrete for saw cutting. Excludes saw cutting, removal, and patch. Furnish and install all new branch conduit, wire, and cable as required per NEC and shown. And as shown, we're going to furnish and install lock receptacles. Furnish and install PVC junction boxes as shown. Furnish and install timer as shown and specified. Oh, we're going to furnish and install communications boxes and conduit stubs into accessible ceiling space. What are we not doing? We're not excludes furnishing and installing any data communications, cable devices, terminations, etc. Includes, oh yeah, one of the first things we're going to do is demo. So let's let them know that we've got time for demo. Demo/safe. That's an interesting way to say that. Let's say preparation of electrical for demolition or safe demolition by others. And then what else? So we've got our floor boxes. We're not patching. Excludes concrete, saw cutting, removal, and patch. All the devices, all the boxes. We've got the fixtures. I think that's it. It's a single pager. So 46,804. Let's change this date to 12/20. And then I've got 4 different clients that this is going to. So I'm sorry that I rushed through the end of this, but I don't know how this video is going to end up being edited, but this was the very first time that I ended up recording the entire estimate. So I'm interested to see how the first video is going to get edited and then what we can learn from the first video to try to make these videos more engaging for you guys. So I hope that you learned something from this video. If you didn't, and you want to learn something else, then let me know. I'll try to cover that. But to go from here, we don't know any of these contractors. Again, we made a bunch of phone calls to people in different states, contractors. Got a couple of people calling us. So that tells us that they're probably lacking coverage. One of the people that we know of is bidding it is from out of state, so they're probably going to have to have a pretty heavy number. So we put some nice hefty margins on this job, and if they give it to us, we'll be happy. So from here, I'm going to take the proposal and I'm going to type in all of the different companies' information for the people who I'm giving this to, and then I'm going to send it off tomorrow. So wish me luck.